Check my levels.
Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check 1 2.
Side B Radio, who's this?
Yo, can I hear that new Tekashi joint?
What's up, everybody? It's your man, Culture Freedom, hip-hop's top chef and one of the co-founders of the legendary hip-hop group, Poor Righteous Teachers. And you're watching Side B TV with my man, Phil Jackson. Y'all already know what time it is.
Hey, what's going on? This is Phil Jackson, host of Side B TV, being brought to you on the Channel Zero Network. Please go back and hit that like and subscribe button. I want to give a special shout out to Grand Agent and Culture Freedom because they have a new EP that's dropping March the 20th called Calm Killing. And we're about to do an interview with them. And they're going to give us some insight on how they came up with the title, how they came up with the concept, just everything. But first, they did a video maybe like a couple years ago that I want to let you guys see because it's a pretty dope animated video. It's called Whatever. So we're going to do the video and then we're going to go into the interview. Sabi TV, Phil Jackson, Instagram at Sabi Radio, Sabi Radio every Sunday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on WBAC 105.1 The Beat in Atlantic City. We're just trying to expand out. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Listen, you could try whatever, you gon' die whatever. This my money and I made it, I'ma buy whatever. My rhyme's better than yours because my mind's more clever. I take it to places to where these cats would never even think about. So while they drink it out, I'll be stacking money many only dream about. A true legend, mind always over matter. The main ingredient that most missing in they batter. They hit a rat-a-tatter on my rhymes and they scatter like an AK, but no gun, hey. They be tripping off the words that the boys say. There is no way you can stop me. Crazy like Tyson in his heyday, or like Ray J. Why they naysay? I be checking rappers off like it's payday.
If you kill all the rappers, what we gon' rap about? Cause the rest of them are actors, what we gon' rap about? And the rest of them drug dealers, what we gon' rap about? Ain't gon' do no good to kill us. If you kill us, what we gon' rap about? No more misogyny, no more cussing, no more robberies, no gun busting. That means obviously no more hustling. What we gon' rap about now? Man, nothing. Man, listen, if the jam was missing, all the scams and the ammunition, and the fans would listen to the point that I could turn this joint into something for the pan in the kitchen, I would've ran with the mission. As it stands, though, they want the ammo, so I go Rambo, I go Matumbo, I go Lando. Listen, yo, fan bro. God forbid what's set I represent get forgotten. Oh, that's not it. God forbid they forget what's set I represent. They get if wet. If you kill all the rappers, what we gon' rap about? Cause the rest of them are actors, what we gon' rap about? And the rest of them drug dealers, what we gon' rap about? Ain't gonna do no good to kill us. If you kill us, if you kill all the rappers, what we gon' rap about? Cause the rest of them are actors, what we gon' rap about? And the rest of them drug dealers, what we gon' rap about? Ain't gonna do no good to kill us. If you kill us, what we gon' rap about?
Yo, it's your man Grand Agent Side B TV with my bro Phil Jackson, Boombox Union, and all that. Let's go.
And now your feature presentation.
What's going on, fellas? You know, you're on. What's going on? This is a special edition of Side B TV. I don't even know if this is Side B TV, but it's going to go on Channel Zero Network, which is Public Enemy's new page. But how you guys been doing, man?
We're blessed, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yo, man. You know, you guys got a new EP that's gonna drop March 20th. It's called A Calm Killing. So you know, tell us about that and how that all started, and you know, and just tell me how the process was of just putting this EP together.
Well, you know, Culture and I go back probably to, I don't know, 90 something.
Okay.
You know, in the previous iteration of my rap career, I was in a group called Name, and we had some people in common, and Poor Righteous Teachers used to let us open up for them every once in a while. So we have a long history that's been, I think, gradually kind of evolving towards something like this.
Okay.
I think we did our first single together, whatever. How many years ago was that, bro?
Man, that had to be about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 years ago, yo.
We did a joint call, whatever. You know, Coach hit me like, throw a verse on here. Came out good. A little while after that, it didn't end up coming out for a while later, but a little while after that, we did Free the Culture, which is what Culture produced that feature Grand Puba,
Okay.
Tajay of Souls of Mischief, and myself. That came out. That was done for a while, but that ended up coming out last year, 2025. And then, you know, just chopping it up. I got some beats. Let me hear them. And one thing led to another. That's kind of how we got here.
That's what's up. So, Culture Freedom, man. So, how was it, you know, putting together an EP with Grand Agent? Because, like Grand Agent said, now you guys have so much history. Was it easy to do? And this is the question for both of you guys: is this all new material, or this is just previous stuff, like maybe like one or two tracks that you did before, but now they're going on a project?
As far as I know, it's all new stuff. I mean, because you know, writers write stuff and they have it, you know, waiting for the perfect time to match it with the right thing. You know, my history with Grand has always been, you know, when you do good work with people, you want to work with them again. And like he said, when we did those shows together and everything, I mean, right off the bat, I knew him and his man Ozzy was just dope MCs. And my first love was producing, right? So I was able to acknowledge that. I worked with Ozzy a little bit. Grand was a little elusive, you know, because he was doing his own thing, you know, off on his own thing. But eventually, you know, we got together, we did something. I think we did something with was it Tribeca?
Right.
Yeah, we did something with them where, you know, they had a track and me and Wise got on it.
That's right.
And then I had a project that I wanted him to be a part of. And he graciously did that for me. And then I was like, man, you know, I got back on my beat thing again real hard. And I was like, man, I need a dope MC, you know, to be a part of it. And I hit him up, asked him, was he willing to do some tracks? And in his laid back kind of way, he was like, you know, send him over, man.
Sounds like Grand Agent.
You're like, you know, send him over. I'll listen to him, you know. So I sent them over to him, and you know, he was like, you know, send a couple more joints, and then we, you know, it was perfect. It was sort of like when I did the joint with Neff, man. It was easy, but in a sense, you know, he put his input into it to make sure, you know, it was coming out how he wanted it to. And then, you know, I put my input into it, but it went together well, man. I mean, he's a good artist to work with. I knew the writing was going to be creative, and he was going to have a unique point of view to the tracks. But I was very, you know, pleased with, you know, the subject matter that he chose, and the way he, you know, his selection of storytelling and stuff like that. It was a wide range of, you know, topics and subjects. So I enjoyed that, man. And that's like a dream for a producer when you got somebody who's a writer. You know, a lot of people, they rap, but they don't write. You know what I mean? And like I said, I don't know how long he had the lyrics, but it was like bada boom, bada bing. You know what I mean? And then it was easy, man. Like I said, when I do good work with people, I want to continue working with them. You know, so it was one of those kind of things.
I'm gonna talk about the name of the EP in a minute, but why make this, like, what was it, a group decision to make this as just the EP and not a full-length project?
Yeah, so all the stuff is freshly written. One of them pre-existed, but it's not released. The rest is all you know, written in this moment. So the reason for that was, well, first Coach was like, he said 3 beats, right? And it was like, okay, I like this one, not these 1 or 2, not so much. Then he sent some more. And then, you know, sometimes you catch a wave, and I'm like, all right, well, why don't we just do an EP? And I think the EP, because we just in a different attention span of listenership and all of that. And I knew from prior experience that I could bang an EP out very quickly. I know that if I got into the LP range, you start to be like, oh, maybe this one, maybe not that one. But if you like, I'm gonna do 6 joints, it's like I'm gonna do 6 joints, and that's it. Like, you're not gonna get in your head too much about, you know what I'm saying? Like, because how long is an album? Is it 10? Is it 12? Is it 15?
Right.
Is it, you know, so once I realized that's what we was doing, then it was like, all right, well, do you got this type of beat? Do you got, like, give me something a little bit faster? Give me something a little bit. Then it was like, okay, now you can shape it into a thing because you know you're doing the thing. And so that was my thing. And it was like, we all busy, right? I knew I had some downtime. I could knock it out in this time. Like we was talking earlier, like, I don't really even record at home no more. So I had to go to the lab. I had like all these factors that was like, it got to be efficient and something that that could be executed, you know what I mean, like real expeditiously. So that's, and also again, like, even the best stuff that I like that has come out lately, even if I loved it, I don't even know if I played it twice. You know what I mean? It's just like life is just moving so fast and releases it. So I figured the EP was just a nice little statement. You know what I'm saying?
Coach Afrino, was that a good range for you to have an EP out?
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of material out there. We're both busy doing different things. And, you know, there's a wave of, you know, quote unquote, true hip hop that's coming back. You know, you got a little boom bap out there and all that stuff. So it's a good way to feel around, see what's going on, and then contribute to this whole new renaissance that's taking place with, you know, lyricism and real, like, I ain't gonna say real beat making, but the whole range of beats, not just one particular style of beat.
Okay.
But like I was saying, with his writing, with storytelling and stuff like that, you like, okay, I have this beat and I imagine this, that, or that. So you can kind of get that off. You know what I mean? And I think this is the time when I was just saying to myself, like, I made this beat last night and I was like, man, I can hear Grand Poobah on this. But the style of the beat might not agree with everybody, but it was when you was making records and you was like, you know, I feel like this, so I'm gonna do this, and I feel like this, so I'm gonna do that. So for me, it was pretty easy, you know what I mean? Because I had the beats, I was doing beats, but this time I was playing a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? So it wasn't so much sampling. I was doing some sampling, but I was playing a lot of stuff because, like, for a minute, I was just hearing stuff in my head. And you know, I like the whole AI thing and all the thing that's going on with that, but I was like, I like to put my soul into it a little bit. So, you know, I start playing some stuff, and I was like, okay, you know, let's see what this is, like he said. So, you know, we did it, and he already had told me in advance, you know, what he was working with in the time range. So, like I said, it worked good, man. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if I did a single with him, I would have been happy. You know what I mean? Because you want to get the work in, man. I mean, you know, time is like, you know, time ain't sparing nobody.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? I'm interested in making these records happen. I'm interested in leaving a legacy for people to enjoy good music. And while their ear is open for it, you know, why not do it? You know, don't make it all long and drawn out. Like he said, you know, we do this to have fun. You know, Slick Rick made a statement when they was asking him and Dougie Fresh about something. And he was like, man, when we had fun, we made dope records. When we made dope records, then we made money. He said, so when we have fun again, we'll make dope records, then we'll make some money, you know? So it's about making dope records and having fun. And that's what I hear when I listen to the records. It's not overthinking things like, oh man, I gotta do this. I gotta make this record. It's just like, you know, like my wife is saying to me now, she'd be like, oh, going up there to your happy space. You know what I mean?
Like,
Because, you know, I just get in there and start vibing out. And that's what it's about. We're all mature now, you know what I mean? And we've took care of this and that, and now it's like, okay, man, you know, let me do me a little bit, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what I'm on, you know, and that's what I felt the record was like, man. Us just having fun.
so it's a total of 6 songs on the EP, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So how many total did you guys make and was left on the cutting floor?
That's it, bro.
That's
I don't
it?
be doing that,
That's it.
man.
Oh, okay. Oh, y'all professionals. Excuse me.
I'm not to even be like that, but I mean, you think about it, right? We've been doing this 30-something years apiece, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and I never really. It took me a long time to get to a point where I felt like, I need to pick and choose. Like I try to be intentional from the rip, right? So. Yeah, I never was big on that, like extra material, like, you know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like I never was big on that. I know there's a time and a place for that, and I have done that. Like, okay, let me sculpt this album out of these 20 songs. Let me get the best 12, and I've done that too, but. I think the whole approach, the speed at which he was cranking them out and hitting me, and like, even if he wasn't hitting me, yo, I need like this or that, and he sent it right over, it would have been foolish. It would have been like the antithesis of the spirit to try to belabor this. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it took me back to a very pure place. A very economical place too, because it's like I'm going in the lab now. Like I'm about to go pay somebody to record this, right? So I'm going in there and rehearse. I ain't a whole lot of extra takes. It's like, yo, man, I ain't giving this boy more than $200, and I'm gonna record all 6 of these, and I'm gonna stay right here in this spot until we done. And that's what happened. And I think what was really fly about this one is how we went back and forth on the, you know, I got the beats, I did the vocals. I gave him the coach. He produced the stuff up a little bit. I touched it again. You know what I mean? Played with the mix, played like this was so DIY, man. We just, you know what I mean? You gotta be pleased with something to come out like this, knowing how we made it. It's crazy. You know
Gotcha.
what I mean?
So tell me who came up with the name A Calm Killing? What does that mean? And I'm looking at the art cover right now, and I don't want to give it out. I don't want to give it away, but it's actually pretty dope. So like tell me the whole meaning behind the art cover and when they can't so like can people see the art cover now? Like do you have it like preview?
Only if they got an advanced copy, or they could go to on the Instagram on Grand Agent. You can see it. The pre-save link at the link in the bio. Yeah.
Go see that. It's super crazy. So tell me why the name A Calm Killing.
Coach, that's you. That was you landed on that.
So that basically came from the first single. You know, there's a part in there where he kind of takes a break from the lyrics and kind of, you know, just kind of does this melodic thing where he's singing, and he's singing about a calm killing.
Right.
And when I heard it, I thought about it. I was like, he was kicking around some names for it, and I don't know. I think we was having a conversation. And I was like, yeah, man, it's a calm killing, you know, because I'm a type if I hear something in the lyric or I'm producing something, there's things that stand out to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be different parts of the lyrics. I always kind of gravitate to different things that's said. And I was like, you know, that's a dope name for it. And then just the overall, like I said, the overall sound of the record, what's going on and how he's approaching, you know, social and political issues. And then at the same time having fun, and being that right now in society, you know, you got people who have been desensitized to the current situation in the country, in our cities and around the world. You know, it's like killing you softly, like you're witnessing it with your eyes wide open, but it's almost like you're in a state of paralysis. You know, you can't say nothing. You can't like get out. You know what I mean? You know, dude was very calm, but at the same time, it was urgent, you know, get out, you know, or wake up like with Spike Lee. So when I heard that, you know, A Calm Killing, it kind of like I said, I think we met in a certain place spiritually too. Right. I mean, to add on to what he was saying, that because when something has already been spoken to your soul and spoken to your spirit, and then you link up with somebody else and do something, there's not much resistance in doing it. Like if you had two guys who was craving puffing a blunt, you know, once the blunt got pulled out, I don't think they're arguing too much, you know. They just,
right. No, you're right. No,
you know, they just light it up and go for it, right?
Right.
So because they know what they want to do. So I think with the current situation, politically, socially, economically, like he mentioned, recording the record now, people have found ways to do things without spending as much cash. Not only that, because it's out of necessity, right? So when we met with this project, I think we were all both in that same space. So the Calm Killing stood out to me. The cover itself, I had created something. It was way over the top. You know what I mean? It was just it was speaking to everything that we're dealing with, but it was all there visually. Okay. And it took away from their ability to kind of interpret it on their own. Right. So when Gran was like, you know, I just want something that speaks without all of that. So we kind of kicked some stuff around. He sent me some stuff. I sent him some stuff. And that's what we came up with. You know what I mean? And it spoke to the whole situation without saying too much.
Right.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes, like with Albert Hitchcock, what he would do is he wouldn't actually show you the murder. Mm-hmm. He would show the knife going back,
right,
and then it going forward. But whatever happens in your mind was more scarier than anything he could have portrayed or did. Right. So he kind of left the interpretation to the murder up to the person. So it did that, and I think that's what Gran was going for. And when he mentioned that, I got it. You know, I was like, okay, I see where you're going with this. So it would kind of, you know, that's pretty much how we came up with the visual and the name.
That's what's up.
Right,
so how important is it? Because you talk about what's going on right now in society, political, and like, you know, if anybody knows who Grand Agent is, we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. You know, he outside of, you know, music, you know, he does a lot of stuff for the city of Philadelphia. Culture Freedom. We all know your history, Poor Righteous Teachers, giving back to the community, telling the community information, Trenton, New Jersey. So how important is it for an artist, not just you guys, but do you feel as though that it's a responsibility of every artist, not every artist, because every artist can't do this, but just to have a message and talk about what's going on right now, even though it might be a real gritty or grimy, they might tell what's going on in their neighborhood, but is it important for that artist, especially a hip-hop artist, to tell what's going on right now in society, in their communities, in their neighborhoods? Is that important?
Well, I mean, I guess you wanna serve the people that gave you to the world, right? I mean, that's how I look at it. So whatever, I think every artist believes they're doing that already, no matter what. So I think that kind of comes with the territory. That's funny because I was I kind of been like a little bit fasting from the news and stuff, but I caught the thing with Dr. Dre and the press secretary for the president. I don't know if y'all heard about that. They was in a room together, and she told him to just stick to making your records and something like that. And then he came back with something real poignant, which is what we're talking about. He's like, listen, music is putting forth the voice of these people that's affected by these policies y'all talking about. So you can never dismiss me in the way that you would like. Something like, you can look it up and see.
Right.
But I mean, everybody got to come to their own peace with that. You know what I'm saying? I pretty much always looked at a record as an opportunity to say something impactful, to try to move my people closer or into some greater experience of freedom. I've always been on that. So I might not be the right person to ask. Do you have to? I think you're going to, no matter what.
No matter what.
You know what I mean? It's just a matter of who that resonate with, and is that in alignment with the zeitgeist, right? I just think right now we in a moment where just like a Dave Chappelle or somebody, like if an artist can help you understand what you're experiencing, you're going to appreciate that right now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'll start with Culture Freedom first. What is your favorite track off of this EP and why? And then I'll go over to Grand Agent.
I like all of them, but if I had to say, probably the most unique one is probably Pinhead Rapper. I like that joint because just the visual, the visual picture that he was painting, like he said in so many words, that a man is the sum total of his life experiences, right? And it's up to the artist to convey the message in the language that the audience can understand and accept, right? Because we come from that, so we know who we're speaking to, and we know the things that they can relate to, and we also know the things that's affecting them. You know what I mean? And Grand, he feels things. You know what I mean? When you say you're conscious, we're not just talking about conscious in the mind, but that means your senses are aware. You know what I mean? Emotionally, physically, financially, socially, and he's a person that feels things. So sometimes he internalizes them. So when he puts it out in the record, you wouldn't think all of that was going on when you kind of talking with him, involving with him, because he's so laid back. But then he gives this perspective on things, and you're like, okay, well, you saw that the whole time, right? What he's talking about is the experience with these kids on this song, and it kind of reminds you of the movie with Richard Pryor. When he was sentenced to Bustin' Loose, when he was sentenced to drive those kids around. And it seemed like you know, he just was burdened by having the kids with him, but actually he enjoyed it, and then he loved them, you know what I mean? And he was a protector. You know, he protected the kids, you know, and it was a lot of dynamics going on in there, and you know, and he was telling it from like an unk situation. You know what I mean? The cool uncle that, you know what I mean, he's looking at things a little differently than the parent, you know, because the parent is coming down, but he realizes his influence on the kids, and he's kind of telling them and saying it to them in a way that they can understand and accept it and kind of grow from. So I think that was something that wasn't touched. You know what I mean? And it reminded me like when Nas said, as I rose, wiping the blunt ash from my clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like it was very detailed and descriptive. So I think that's the thing that drew me to that. And you know, at first when he sent the joints over, I was like, yeah, I gotta give him a listen. Because I wanted to hear like all that, but then I'm like, whoa, this joint is, you know. So I would say that one to me stands out, but the single is impactful too because it's so hard. You know what I mean?
What about you, Grand Agent?
That's funny. Quite a few people have said Pinhead rapper, like, but I'm gonna go with a Calm Killing. I just man, I love hit records, man. People might think I don't know, whatever box they put me in, but I love hit records. And you know, I've learned in my career that creating a hit, it still depends on hit promotion and all that other stuff, but listen, man, a Calm Killing is a hit. It's a hit in many arenas for many reasons. It's a perfect record, and I love it. It's one of them. It may be my proudest moment as a songwriter, recording artist. I never been, you know, I never really ever was rapping for rap's sake. I do believe I'm a great rapper, but like Culture said, the writing, the concept, and everything, that cover, the name of this whole thing hangs on that single, and it's sturdy enough to carry it. It's to me, it's a beautiful, beautiful record, man. So that's my joint right there.
That's what's up. So it's gonna drop March 20th. I want to read a couple of because you know you gave some people an advanced copy. One person wrote Elite Pen Game Heavy. That was from Official Bars magazine. The other one was The Receipts Are Here, Two Legends, One Instant Classic, and that came from Hip Hop After 50 podcast. So when you hear stuff like that, how does that make you feel amongst your peers? Because, you know, like you said, you know, an EP, you know, music is so fast, so quick, you know, people tune in and they tune out. So like when you hear that, especially about this project, how does that make you guys feel?
I mean, it's always great to be, you know, acknowledged by your peer group and be accepted by your peer group. I can agree with Grand when he said he liked to make hit records because it broadens your audience, and it kind of, you know, it helps you to get to places where you might not ordinarily be. And it takes you out of the, you know, just for these people type of thing. And so when you hear that, and then when you're able to accomplish both, like satisfy your peer group and bring a new audience into it, and not even be trying to do it, but it just happens organically, I think is very rewarding in a sense, because like as a chef, I do things where I don't try to compromise the integrity of what I'm doing for likes or views. There's certain fundamental practices that I have to use and techniques because I know my peer group is going to be paying attention. They're like, okay, he's, you know, that's not sound, you know, and, you know, the hip hop community, you can be very critical, especially the hip hop purists. You know what I mean? It's a certain thing that they're looking for and in the music. And if it's not there, then they might be like, you know, but I just think like, once again, it where we both come from, I think, you want that, but when you get it, it's like, all right, man, that's dope. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it is a culture, and we're trying to preserve the culture. So we're not intentionally, contriving something to be something that is not. But it's great when folks like yourself, when you give it a nod, and others like yourself, so it's rewarding in that sense. You know what I mean?
That's what's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
You feel
Absolutely.
the same way, Grand Agent? No, I was waiting for you to say something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I listen, man. I'm thrilled with it. Listen, I like it, and let me tell you, I just for comparison, somebody just asked me to do a show. It's a brother here who had a fire in his house or something, like they doing a benefit, a fundraiser, and I'm like, damn, this is real serendipitous timing. Like, yo, I got a new joint coming out. They want me to do this show. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And putting the show together, listening to all the stuff that I might be known for, that quite honestly, a lot of times I ain't gonna say I didn't like it, but I never felt like y'all don't even know. Like y'all
Right.
You like this, but like it was a label involved in this, and this guy had, and you don't even know. But like, but now I appreciate them, because the reason they calling me is because all of them other things exist, right? But this one right here, I love this joint from as soon as it was finished, I was like, yo, this is official right here. You know what I mean? It checks all the boxes. It just checks every box, even for me. And I'm a terrible snob and a terrible you know what I mean? Like for rap records and like lyrics, like I'm not easily impressed, right? And this does it, man. This joint definitely does it.
That's what's up. So
Yeah.
it drops March the 20th, which is like maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks from now. So
First
like,
day of spring.
what is the rollout? So are you guys gonna do a listening party? You're gonna do an album, EP release party? So what's going on? Like when it drops March 20th?
So we work in the streaming game, man. So we got our,
As you should.
our
Yes.
people at Soul Spasm working the playlist angle, and we're
Word.
doing little things on Instagram, and we got a video that's being finished now for the single. And listen, man, just the same way we made it, we gonna find our way in that lane as well. And it's gonna do something, man. It's gonna do something. It's gonna do something magical. I know that. It's a crazy little situation, man, for sure.
Now, we're gonna wrap up, but because it all ties into a calm killing, because it takes a special person. I'm not just talking about an artist, but it takes a special person to put together a project like this that has some meaning, that has some structure to it. And with Grand Agent and Culture Freedom, if you know them, you know that they're about the community. So I want to ask Grand Agent, Philly Truce, man, give us an update on that. You had the Million Man March maybe like a few months ago. So like give us a whole update on that, because I know sometimes I turn on the TV, I'm like, oh, it's Grand Agent right there. So I mean, but he just doesn't talk it, he walks it. So like Grand Agent, I want you to tell us all the things that you're doing in the community of Philadelphia, Philly Truce and Culture Freedom, and then I want you to tell them what you're doing, and just break us down, because a lot of people don't know that you guys are really activists,
Right.
and so and you're really about the community. So Grand Agent, you can start off.
Well, all right. Well, right now, Philly Truce, actually on May 8th, we're gonna be having the 5th anniversary gala. We had the 5-year milestone as an organization. I was very fortunate to be able to do something that I envisioned, which was to start to put the organization on its own footing, like not that it depends on me, right? Because I looked around and I see a lot of elders got organizations. They've been the main person for 40 years. And I realized real quick I didn't want that. So I have now, we've been able to hire a executive director to replace me. So now I'm the board chair, and I kind of consult the new executive director and help her get her footing under her. But I mean, we're doing the same stuff. Peace Patrol, the mission is driving the impact of sustainable Black manhood. We do that primarily through Peace Patrol in the violence interruption space. But when we get those guys, most of whom have been locked up or what they call returning citizens, we're doing personal development with them, basically working with them so that they're able to work with the community. And that's the whole cycle, and with the young people, like, was the inspiration for the song. The new executive director is going to work kind of, we had two separate things, and she's going to kind of marry them now so that the Peace Patrol guys ultimately become the mentors of the younger guys, right? And so, I mean, I'm thrilled to be able to see that taking shape because, like, I learned very quickly in that world that if you're not intentional, either one of two things or one of three things is going to happen. You're going to burn out and it's going to disappear, or it's going to become a cult of personality, or you're going to get yourself tied to it for X amount of years. And none of those to me seem like sustainable the way the thing needs to be based on what they're addressing. So that's where Philly Truce is. May 8th at the Kimmel Center. We're having our 5th anniversary gala. Go to Philly Truce Instagram, get some tickets, support us. We need that. And you're going to see us out.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Are you and Culture Freedom going to be performing?
No,
that's a possibility.
That's
a possibility.
Okay,
that's a possibility.
Okay.
I got some joints. I mean, man, I got.
You got an EP. You got a couple of joints. I'm just saying.
See what happened.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna see what happened. It's possible because I just getting that date you was talking about. I was supposed to be in. I'm going to be in Trenton, New Jersey, May 7th through the 9th.
Okay.
And we're doing a pop-up hip-hop exhibit.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
right now,
there you go.
I'm working in conjunction with the Trenton Music Experience to create a museum in the Trenton area to represent the music that was made by locals. Everything from classical to funk, rock, soul, R&B. And they've been doing these pop-ups, and on May 7th through the 9th, we're doing the hip-hop one. So I'm inviting both of y'all out right now, live on air, to come out and step through, man, and experience the culture. Like me and Grant was talking off, backstage about, some of the artists that came out of Trenton that he might not have been familiar with. So we was talking about that, and it's going to give the locals and other people an opportunity to see the culture in real time on a timeline where they can see the fashion, the break dancing, the music, the MCing, all of that. And then we're doing a thing with Rainbow. He's doing a graffiti thing on one of the days where it'll be interactive for the kids. And they'll get to see, the true part of our culture, not all the negativity and the violence, but the actual art. And that's what we're going to celebrate on those 3 days. And that's one of the main things I'm working in conjunction with them to make sure, sort of like an overseer, to make sure that, certain things don't get left out. Also, we have another upcoming event that we're going to be doing as well. So just keep your eyes and ears open for that. And I worked, and the thing that I can relate to this is because I worked for a youth program for 15 years. It was called Armed and Ready. And it basically was a program that prepared young men for real life situations. How to repair cars, how to tie ties, how to deal with violence, conflict resolution, and things like that. So, just putting that time in, I was in total support of Grant and watching him do his thing. And it's just good to give back, man. So I work with other programs in Trenton, New Jersey, like the Boyd's program and things like that, who do similar things. And then you have Passage Theater, who puts on a hip hop camp every summer.
Okay.
And we typically come up for that and for about a weekend or whatever and work with them. So it's all of these little things tied in. And I'm kind of functioning as an elder or a bishop, right now, just overseeing and helping things get started, like helping to preserve the culture.
Yeah.
Word. So, hey, Coach, I got a bonus question for you because I've been noticing on social media, Wise Intelligence has been putting little freestyles up. So I know you really can't speak for him. Well, you can, but does he have anything coming out? Not even just that. Is there a possibility that we might have a PRT album coming out soon?
That's possible. He has some production from me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He has plenty of production from me, so that's very possible. But Wise is very active as a writer.
Yes,
he's another writer like Grant. So he's very active as a writer, and he's always writing and recording. And there's always that urge to just put out material, man, and let people hear it. And that's why we make it. I think Derek X spoke to that, like what are you holding on to this stuff for? Time is not, in none of our favor. So I respect him as an artist to be able to drop stuff whenever whatever he want. We did 5 to 6 albums together. And he's just exercising his freedom as an MC and as a writer, man, to just do what he do and let the world see his talent. And I've been checking it out, man, and it's been good. A lot of the stuff been really good. And Wise is an elite MC, man. There's no doubt about it. So I think he should, do what he's doing and express himself in that way. And as far as Poor Righteous Teachers are concerned, we got something coming up with Passage Theaters called Live on Front Street, or Word on Front Street. That's what it's called. And we did one last year. We're going to do this one again.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on April 3rd. So, July 3rd, pardon me.
July 3rd,
it's on July 3rd, and we're going to do that. And we've been performing together. We've been doing shows together. We did a couple in Baltimore last year, did some in Trenton. Obviously, all the stuff dealing with the 50th anniversary of hip hop, the MTV thing. So there's plenty of stuff out there with us working. And we're at the point right now, man, our fan, which we're still kind of trying to reach other people, but our fan base has kind of been established. So, and they know the song. So even if we wanted to show up and perform all those songs, it's, because when we do our set, we'll do PRT stuff, and then I'll do some solo stuff, and then he'll do some solo stuff, and we just kind of vibe. So I think this time he'll have plenty solo stuff to do. Yeah, man. There's always that possibility because that's my brother. You know what I mean?
Word.
So it's always a possibility that we can get together and do something. I'll always leave that door open for him. And I think likewise,
That's what's up. So how can people support the album when it comes out the 20th? Where can they go support it? Where can they go stream it? Is there merchandise that comes along with this project? So Grand Agent or Culture Freedom, you can break all that down for me.
March 20th, first day of spring. Great day for this to be popping out. In the Ramadan, all of that. It's a perfect culmination of events that's gonna make this album resonate the way it's supposed to. All you gotta do is go wherever you got you listen to music, whether it be YouTube or Spotify or Tidal, or just go in there and play that joint, man. Listen, in these 14 minutes and 14 seconds, you're going to feel like you listen to a 60-minute Big Daddy Kane album. I'm telling you, it's that, you get all that in 15 minutes. If you got 15 minutes, we'll take you right to 1988 or 89 or 92 or 96, wherever you want to be. It's a remarkable thing, man. And I really rarely don't even be talking about my own stuff like this, but it is a remarkable accomplishment in 2026 and it's a lot of, trust me, Nas and Primo and all the De La, and this is right there with that. Right there with that. Seriously, like, and I'm saying that as a consumer, this is right there with that.
Yeah,
you know,
this is the era, man.
Yeah.
And you know what the crazy thing about it is? Me and Grant had did an interview for the Million Man March that he put together. And I did ask, I said, yo, so like when is the music coming out? You were like, man, I don't know, man. And then lo and behold, I get to see him.
I thought about that too when you responded to the interview. I thought about that, but you can imagine in the throes of all of that, man, you ain't thinking about no record, no nothing. You like, but the beauty was I got through all of that. This whole record is actually, you could say, came out of the cauldron of building Philly Truce. It's like that whole 5 years is right in that 15 minutes.
Brother, you've been using some big ass words that I'm like, true. I mean, expeditiously. I mean, I can't even remember the but you've been using but it's good.
Sit right in that cauldron.
Yeah. Man,
that's the thing I be messing with him about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like that right there. I would take that and turn that into something. You know what I mean?
No. So, do you have any videos out for? Cause I know you said that you're working on a video right now for one of the songs, but do you have any videos and visuals out for any particular one right now?
No, not yet, man. Everything is hinged on this title track right now.
Okay.
I do hear that people want to see a pinhead rapper because I done had about 5 dudes say, yo, that. So we're going to have to do something about that for sure. And then another one I think that's real hot is Wasn't Gonna See Me. It's that's the only one that's real. We just spitting. No real heavy concept, just spitting. And we got the Old Dirty sample in there. So
okay.
Listen, man. If you love hip hop, man, you gonna have a hard time finding something wrong with this record.
Got you.
Seriously.
Yeah, so we're just looking to make classic material. That's my main objective right now, is to make classic, timeless material. Trying to focus in on that, nothing else. When it comes to that, because I think we need more of that. I think that's the remedy. I think that's the cure to what we're dealing with right now and what we're coming off of. Trying to step away from the viral moments and just having a moment and start building the stuff that made careers, that made, the reason why we're having this interview right now. Right. Start making some more stuff like that, have fun, make classic material, change the drums, change the bass lines, change the speed, all of that kind of stuff.
Change the flow.
Yeah, change the flow. So I think that's what we're doing, man. We're not being bound to anything. It's just like when hip hop was in its golden era. Everybody was just, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to impact the game with something that people didn't hear before, or if they did do something people heard before, they did it in a way that was special. You know what I mean? And that's the aim of the record. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was the importance of the combination of us two, is that we understood that principle. Mm-hmm.
So, Culture Freedom, how can people get in contact with you? How can they follow you? How can they support you? So give out all your social media handles. If you have any websites, just give out all the information so people can really go out and support you.
Well, you can go on Hip Hop's Top Chef on IG. Okay. If you want to support me with the food thing. And that's where you'll know where I'm going to be at next, doing my chefery. And then on Facebook is Hip Hop's Top Chef as well, and Culture Freedom Kerry Williams, which is my government. You can hit me on that on Facebook, or you can go to www.cult-freecollection.com, and you can pick up some music, some food, some clothing, and that would be dope. I mean, support classic hip hop. You know what I mean? Support the culture. It's vital.
Yep.
or go on Culture Freedom PRT on Instagram as well.
What about you, Grand Agent?
Grand Agent on Instagram. As always, I gotta say Philly Truce on Instagram. That's where all my love and time and energy go between these two forms of expression, whether making records or community service. So as far as this record, listen, man, just play it, just run it up, as the young folks say. Just run it up, man. Get on your streaming service, put it on repeat until you know what I mean, until you let it get in you. It's I'm honored. First of all, Culture, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know we bros and all that, but when people have a place in something that's as hard to carve a spot in as the hip hop landscape, which Poor Righteous Teachers do, they very leery of sharing that, of co-signing things, of, and I'm Grand Agent. I might not have that yet, but I just want to acknowledge that Poor Righteous Teachers is a remarkable force in this culture, right? And I say that differently from even maybe the music business, right? But like what that feel like, how street, how real, how down to earth it feel when you listen to it. You know what I'm saying? That's what we started. That's what's been co-opted. That's what the world is running off of, right? So like what Coach said, to be able to hit reset on all of that, to be alive to see it after it's made $1 trillion, right? After it's turned 50, and then here we go, year 51, 52, Nas and Premier, Culture Freedom and Grand Agent, Daylight. It's like I feel like I'm 14 again. You know what I'm saying? Which is, and to be on something that I know is in that canon, is in that catalog of things that happened in 2026 when people look back like, yo, this is one of them, man. So a calm killing, and it's called a calm killing. Why? How you?
Yeah. It's, you know what I mean? Sniper style. Some old sniper stuff. You know, 1 minute they talking, the next minute they ate. You know what I mean?
And
That type of thing. You know, no big hoopla happening, no big ruckus going on. Just 1 minute something happening, and 1 minute it ain't.
And that's,
you know, so and that's the way, you know, we don't have to, because another spin on that is this. A lot of the youth like to talk about how the unks and that they're so hard on them and all of this and all of that. Well, we're trying a different approach to that. It's more, let's do what I say, then let me give a demonstration of what that looked like. Right. So that's what we're into doing, is just giving a demonstration, man, demonstrating hip hop on in its highest level, in its highest form. And Trenton, Philly always had a dynamic relationship. You know, back in the day when we came out, we always had a real good rapport with Philly from somewhere. I think because they be saying John, and our first John was John, so it's like rock that funky John. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I like that, man. I like the love, and it's good to have it reciprocated. You know what I mean? Somebody show you love, they appreciate your art. And it stinks when, you know, an artist only receive accolades, but they don't want to appreciate anybody else's art. And for me, it's not about social status or, you know, an elite personality, but it's about the work that you do. And I'm a fan of Grand Agent's music. I was a fan of Name's music, and it's an honor to have worked with him. You know, that's one of the things on my bucket list I can scratch off.
that's what's up.
Hey, look, I want to thank you guys for coming on, man. Grand
That's it.
Agent, Culture Freedom, A Con Killing, that's going to be coming out March 20th. All it's going to be all on streaming platforms. Now, is Soul Spasm putting this? They're helping you put this record out.
Yeah, they are the distributor. They are the digital distributor. So
you
they
can
help
go
me
to
circulate it. They help us work it on the playlist and all that. So Soul Spasm, shout out to Jim Drew and the whole team. I'm going on like probably 25 years working with that dude. So yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You can go on soulspasm.com too, actually, when it drops, correct?
Don't quote me on that. Just go to Grand Agent on Instagram.
That's what's up.
Follow, hit that link. You know what I mean?
Hey, look, I want to thank you guys for coming on, man. Anything I could do on my end to support this project, just let me know. I'm playing the records on Sabi Radio, and we're gonna support you to the fullest, man. And not even just with the music, but we're gonna support you on what you're doing in the community with Philly Truce and Culture Freedom. You coming back to Trenton, giving a history lesson of hip hop and not just in hip hop, but just in music, in the culture of Trenton, New Jersey. So we're gonna support you guys 100% of what you guys are doing. And I really want to thank you guys for taking time out for letting me interview you about this project, because I heard it's super dope. Like I said before, I'm playing. I can't wait to see the visuals for it. And just thank you for letting me do this interview with you guys.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, Phil.
Hey,
as soon as this renders, I'll send it over to you.
That's what's up. Hey, look, man, Sabi Radio, Sabi TV. We're signing out. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Peace.
Peace.